Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, we finally have the United States of America contacting Wealen. Paul Wealen, the American who was detained in Russia and I think charged with espionage and given about 16 years in penitentiary. And if you remember, he was mentioned, in passing when, Griner, Brittany Griner, the basketball player, she was released. This guy was not. He's a former Marine and all that, defended his country, served his country. You stay over there rotten, but we take the basketball player out. Well, you can see you can see what a person is or a country by looking at its priorities. In this case, you got the basketball player out, leave that guy in. All right, well, you understand? Okay. And you can look deeper than just a job of the two. You can look at further than that, other things. So anyway, what's going on? Blinken called Wealen, and the Russians allowed him to speak. And the reason why I picked this article and make this video is not to celebrate or anything like this. I think Wealen should have been released way before Brittany, whatever her name is, Griner, okay? For me, the cannabis girl. But anyway, let's go and see what's going on here. I will just point to some terms and then I'll ask a question and be done with this video. So here is the article coming from ABC News. Blinken speaks with Paul Wealen, American, this is one of the words, wrongfully detained by Moscow. Sources confirm. Okay, well, he's wrongfully detained. Wealen spoke to Blinken by phone from a remote prison camp in Russia. And Secretary of State spoke over the phone, wrongfully, he said, over the phone with Paul Wealen, a wrongfully imprisoned American citizen who has been jailed by Moscow since 2018, according to sources familiar with the call. A source said that during a conversation on Wednesday, Blinken assured Wealen, who is currently being held in a remote prison camp in Russia, that U.S. officials were doing everything possible to secure his freedom. I don't believe it. If this Wealen will turn tomorrow into Griner, he would be released in a week. This is a weasel. Check his early life on Wikipedia and you're going to understand why we have him and why we have Victoria Nuland, why we have Zelensky, Mihal, Reznikov, which is a coincidence, but hey, what do you want? Just a reality. You can't hide it. All right, here we have this. A long and frank conversation with Secretary. Psst. Okay, now this is another thing, and then I will be done with the video after I ask the question. Wealen is one of just 2 American citizens held by Russia, known to be classified as unjustly detained by the U.S. government. Well, let me ask you this. Do you know, right now, think and give me a name, which I know you will not have one. Give me a name of an American who was rightfully detained in Russia. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I got you by the balls because you don't have a name. It's surprising that all the Americans detained in Russia are somehow wrongfully detained. Is that possible? It's not impossible, but it's very unlikely. Okay? You don't have any American, or we don't have any American acting idiotic and at a bar somewhere in Russia, you think? Someone who wants to buy, to marry a Russian, okay, and bring her here for about 2 years, and she gets her permanent residence and say, fuck you, and she goes out, and then he goes and gets another wife from there. Is that what it is? None of this didn't do anything wrong. All of them are just wrongfully detained. I do not believe that. Or at least I'm very, very skeptical. As I said, it's not impossible. It's highly unlikely. Somehow, these guys are wrongfully detained. The guy from the Wall Street Journal, another Zelensky, look for him, another Zelensky, another Blinken, another Nuland, another Mihal, another Reznikov, another. That guy, again, was wrongfully detained. Wealen wrongfully detained. the girl with cannabis in her luggage wrongfully detained, what the hell do you need to do in order to say, yeah, I think these guys are rightfully detained? Wow, blow up Moscow or something? And then say, well, I think that kind of almost fits the term, rightfully detained. Really? Just an observation how these guys are. Then Wealen, you wait. You've been since 2018. You had what, 5 years over there. The other one, what's her name? The basketball player. Okay, she's got out in what, 8 months or something, 9 months after she was in jail, and then she was transferred to the penitentiary and the colony for about what, 30 days. She, not even 30 days. She was out, like poo racket. And what did they do? These guys with their diplomacy, they exchange a basketball player. God damn it! For what? For Victor Bout, the merchant of death. Well, if that's the merchant of death, then what is the Pentagon? You tell me. I mean, it's like really, like that Goliath, and what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. Not Daniel. Anyway, doesn't really matter. I don't care. Let's put it this way. But I know the story. So anyway, here it is. Sorry for Goliath, I gotta tell you, but that's my preference. I don't like weasels. But anyway, he was smart, right? But he was unfair. The guy who came barehanded, and the guy used the. Well, he was smart. He was smart, man. Yeah. Okay. Nevertheless, this is it. Back to Wealen. Bye-bye. See you next time. Never. But they spoke together. And they're always wrongfully detained. Remember that one. Stay strong. No, it was David. You know how I remember now David? Because of Michelangelo's sculpture, David. And one problem with that, you know what it is? With that problem? David of Michelangelo is not circumcised. That means he's not David, actually. See? Anyway, just look at it. Right now, Google it. Google it. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.